All right, Hotep. Hey, this is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, and writer. So let's try to do this broadcast again. We're having technical difficulties. Okay, so we're talking about this story from the NFL that broke today, broke within the last couple of hours. And this is dealing with the NFL coming out with new policies, okay, for the new season. Washington Post has an article about this, as well as the New York Times, okay. And in their new policies, they're going to fine NFL teams whose players take a knee during the national anthem. Okay, whose players take a knee during the national anthem. All right, so we're going to post this information here on the thread of the broadcast, and share this broadcast on your Facebook page. Invite your friends to tune in also. All right, so we know that the protest started with Colin Kaepernick back about August 26, 2016. That's when it was noticed. The third game, the San Francisco 49ers were playing against the Green Bay Packers. It was a preseason game, okay? And we know that we have seen a number of players engage in the protests. One of them is Eric Reed of the San Francisco 49ers, formerly the San Francisco 49ers. And we know that Eric Reed and Colin Kaepernick both filed lawsuits against the NFL alleging collusion also, okay? All right, so if we look at this article, and we're going to post the information here on the thread of the broadcast also, so you can share this on your Facebook page. But a lot of fans are outraged by this decision as well. And they're saying that this decision is designed to appease a lot of white supremacists and bigots, including Donald Trump. Okay, so rawstory.com has an article today. I'm done with the NFL. Fans revolt over sideline protest ban to quote unquote appease racists and the quote unquote bully president. This is from rawstory.com. I'm done with the NFL. Fans revolt over sideline protest ban to appease racists and the bully president. Okay. So if you look at the article from New York Times, there's one from the New York Times. NFL teams will be fined for players' anthem kneeling. And then there's one from the Washington Post. NFL owners approve new national anthem policy with hope of ending protests. Okay. So if we look at this one here from the New York Times, NFL players will be allowed to stay in the locker room during the national anthem, but their teams will be fined. By the league if they go onto the field and kneel. Okay. Their teams will be fined by the NFL if they go onto the field and kneel. According to new rules adopted by NFL owners on Wednesday, May 23rd, 2018, in an effort to diffuse an issue that escalated last season into a national debate catalyzed by Donald Trump. Okay, a national debate catalyzed by Donald Trump. All right, and let's see if this will come up here. Okay. All right, now players have previously been required to leave the field for the national anthem. And NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said that owners voted unanimously to rescind that rule and to fine teams if their players on the field or sidelines. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said that owners voted unanimously to rescind that rule that players had to be on the field for the national anthem, and they voted to fine teams, F-I-N-E, impose a fine upon teams if their players are on the field or sidelines, but not, quote, show respect for the flag and the anthem. Okay, so if the players are on the sidelines or on the field while the national anthem is playing, they're saying that the NFL is going to fine teams whose players do not, quote, show respect for the flag and the anthem. All right. Now, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said that it was unfortunate that on-field protests created a false perception about among many, that thousands of NFL players were unpatriotic. Thousands of NFL players were unpatriotic. Okay. Roger Goodell said this. He said that is not and never was the case. And no, they're not patriotic. First of all, we have to be very clear. They were protesting against the national anthem, but they were protesting the oppression of African Americans and people of color because of racism and police brutality. This is what this was about. Okay? So the people who criticized them, like Donald Trump, instead of them focusing on the reason why the protests are taking place, okay, instead of them focusing on the reason why the protests are taking place, what they want to do is to attack the players, call them unpatriotic, all right, as opposed to trying to address the issue and trying to address the reason why the protests are even taking place in the first place. Okay, and then we know that a couple months ago, when Stephen Clark was killed in Sacramento, at the White House press daily briefing, I think it was April Ryan who asked the question to Sarah Huckabee Sanders about what President Trump thought about the unarmed killing of African Americans by police and things like this. She said that he thinks it's a local issue, and she basically said the federal government is saying that's a local issue. Well, just last week, speaking to a group of police officers, and he said that the death penalty needs to be imposed for people who kill police officers. He said Congress should pass a law that imposes the death penalty. Okay. Well, I thought it was a local issue. Why are you commenting on that and not commenting on the other? I thought it was a local issue. Okay. All right. So a lot of people are upset about this rule from the NFL. The new policy was adopted at the league's spring meeting in Atlanta without involvement of the players' union. It is unclear how individual players will respond to the new rules. All right. Now, the NFL Players Association released a statement today, and they said, quote, "Our union will review the new policy and challenge any aspect of it that is inconsistent with the collective bargaining agreement," the union said in the statement. They posted on Twitter. They said the NFL Players Association said the NFL chose to not consult the union in the development of this new policy. NFL players have shown their patriotism through their social activism, their community service, in support of our military and law enforcement, and yes, through their protests to raise awareness about the issues they care about. The vote by NFL club CEOs today contradicts the statements made to our player leadership by Commissioner Roger Goodell and the chairman of the NFL's management council, John Mara, M-A-R-A, about the principles, values, and patriotism of our league. Our union will review the new policy and challenge any aspect of it that is inconsistent with the collective bargaining agreement. All right. Now, it was San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick who began kneeling for the national anthem in the 2016 season to protest racism and police brutality. He was joined by several teammates and dozens of other players around the NFL continuing into last season. While some fans applauded the protest, many others were critical, saying the players were disrespecting the country. They're not disrespecting the country. First of all, they're exercising the First Amendment right. Secondly, they're protesting to make the country better. They're protesting against racism, white supremacy, the oppression of African Americans and people of color by police brutality. Okay? So how is that disrespecting the country? The oppression that they're protesting against is disrespecting the country. The racism they are protesting against is disrespecting the country, is not living up to the highest values that this country claims. Now, among them, among the critics, were Donald Trump, who declared in September 2017 on Twitter, quote, "Sports fans should never condone players that do not stand proud for their national anthem or their country. NFL should change the policy." But there was video of Donald Trump standing for the national anthem, and it appears he didn't even know the words to the national anthem. Very interesting. Okay. Now, the protests were also discomforting to largely conservative NFL owners. And we know some of them, 7 of them donated to Donald Trump's presidential campaign. 7 of them donated $1 million to Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Kaepernick has filed a grievance saying he was blackballed by the NFL. No team offered him a job after he left the 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers. Another former 49ers player, safety Eric Reed, has done the same thing. He's filed a grievance as well. Okay. Now, the new policy states that a club will be fined by the league if its personnel are on the field and do not stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem. It does not elaborate whether other types of protests, like raised fists, would be considered a show of respect. Okay, so now it's also important. It's also important to understand. Okay, and can you all hear me? Okay, it's also important to understand that it wasn't until about 2009. Wasn't about 2009 that players were required to be on the field in the first place. Okay, I think that started about 2009. Okay, that players were required to be on the field, or did they start playing the national anthem with the in the NFL? Okay, that was about 2009. All right, and they thought it would be a show of. They thought it would be a good gesture to the military and a good show of patriotism. All right, there was a article from Snopes.com that broke this down also. Now, in 2011, the Department of Defense started paying, in fourth quarter 2011, the Department of Defense started paying sports teams to have patriotic displays. They ended up paying $54 million to sports teams with patriotic displays. Okay, so NFL players were not required to be on the sidelines during the playing of the national anthem for prime time games prior to 2009. That's what it was. I'm looking at the article from Snopes.com. Prior to 2009, NFL players were not required to be on the sidelines during the playing of the national anthem before 2009. Okay, and we'll post this the link to this article from Snopes.com here, which did the fact checking to break this down. All right, and if we look at the article from the Washington Post dealing with we look at the article from the Washington Post here. Report at least 50 teams were paid by Department of Defense for patriotic displays. And this is a report that came out in 2015 from Senators Jeff Flake and Senator John McCain, both of Arizona. And this dealt with how the Department of Defense paid $54 million to sports teams for patriotic displays. Okay, they paid the 145-page report cites contributions to 18 NFL teams, 10 Major League Baseball teams, 8 NBA teams, 6 NHL teams, National Hockey League, 8 soccer teams, as well as NASCAR, Iron Dog, and Indiana University, Purdue University. Okay, the Atlanta Falcons, for instance, were the top recipients, getting $879,000 over 4 years. Over the same 4-year period, the New England Patriots received $700,000, and the Buffalo Bills received $650,000. The report includes a memo from the NFL to its team giving guidance on paid patriotism. Okay, because that's what the study was called. It was dealing with stopping paid patriotism. Okay, so this gives background information on that. All right, so a lot of people would see these displays and think, oh, the NFL is so patriotic, or the NBA teams and things like this. No, from 2011 to 2015, a lot of these teams were getting paid for these patriotic displays. Okay, all right. We'll post this article here as well from the Washington Post. Okay, so check that out. All right, so if we look at the new policy, all right, from the NFL, the new policy states that a club will be fined by the NFL if its personnel are on the field and do not stand and show respect for the NFL and the national anthem. Okay, so we know Donald Trump was critical of NFL players who took a knee. He did not talk about the reason why they were taking the knee. Okay, he just criticized them. He said that wouldn't you like to see one of the owners fire one of these SOBs when they don't stand for our national anthem? Okay, he's trying to galvanize his base, appeal to a lot of white supremacists, and talk about our national anthem, things like this. Well, it's definitely not a national anthem for African Americans. That's why the black national anthem was written by James Weldon Johnson. It's called Lift Every Voice and Sing, because we knew the white one was not for us. So people really need to study Francis Scott Key, who wrote the national anthem September 13th, 1814, and it was originally called Defense of Fort McHenry. Defense of Fort McHenry. Okay, people need to research that. We're gonna post. How's everybody doing today? Okay, we've got John and Shirley and Zandrine, Valbin, Vi. How's everybody doing? I'm gonna post a link here on the thread of the broadcast, dealing with the online course that I teach, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. That's a 14-hour, 7-session online course. It's all on demand. Watch at your own pace. There's also, it's a 10-course bundle pack. So if you like information dealing with history, like the type of information we provide for you, we have online courses you can check, you can view from around the world. They also include Great African Women in History, the Mothers of Civilization, Great African Women in History, the Mothers of Civilization, as well as African American Resistance in the Era of Donald Trump, Voter Suppression, Reparations, and How Elections Have Consequences, African American Resistance in the Era of Donald Trump, Voter Suppression, Reparations, and How Elections Have Consequences. That's another one, okay? That's in the bundle pack as well, all right? Okay, so we're going to post it here on the thread of the broadcast. You can register for that. It's on sale $60, regularly $130, all right? And that helps support the African History Network, what we're doing. The Oracle on Facebook said it's all a reverse psychology tactic, trying to see if they can manipulate these men into settling. They're going too far this time. They're going too far with this, and it's time. Okay, it's basically time to boycott the NFL. Continue boycotting. Okay. Let's see here. All right, let's continue. And then I want to share an article with you from rawstory.com, because rawstory.com's article is entitled, "I'm Done with the NFL. Fans Revolt Over Sideline Protests Banned to Appease Racists and the Bully President." Okay. Now, if we look at the new policy, all team and league personnel on the field shall stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem. The game operations manual will be revised to remove the requirement that all players be on the field for the anthem. The game operations manual will be revised to remove the requirement that all players be on the field for the anthem. Personnel who choose not to stand for the anthem may stay in the locker room or in a similar location off the field until after the anthem has been performed. A club will be fined by the league, by the NFL, if its personnel are on the field and do not stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem. Each club may develop its own work rules consistent with the above principles regarding its personnel who do not stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem. the commissioner will impose appropriate discipline on league personnel who do not stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem. All right. Now, NFL owners, players, and executives met in October to discuss the anthem issue. According to an audio recording obtained by the New York Times, players wanted to talk about Colin Kaepernick's case, while owners were more concerned about how to avoid negative publicity around the issue of kneeling during the anthem. Okay. Now, Robert K. Kraft, who is the owner of the New England Patriots and a longtime supporter of Donald Trump, said, quote, "The problem we have is we have a president who will use that as fodder to do his mission that I don't feel is in the best interest of America." Okay. He said, okay, can y'all hear me okay? Testing 1, 2, 3. He said, "The problem we have is we have a president who will use that as fodder to do his mission that I don't feel is in the best interest of America." Okay. He said, "It's divisive and it's horrible," end quote. This is what Robert Kraft, who's the Patriots, New England Patriots owner, said, and he's a longtime supporter of Donald Trump. Now, Houston Texans owner Bob McNair told players they should talk to their teammates who kneel. He said they should talk to their teammates who kneel. Quote, "You fellas need to ask your compadres, fellas, stop that other business. Let's go out and do something that really produces positive results and will help you." Okay. But see, they're not addressing the main reason why the players are protesting in the first place. They're protesting against the oppression of African Americans and people of color, okay, at the hands of police, through police brutality, over policing, things like this, and they're protesting against white supremacy and racism. Okay, so people don't want to address the reasons that they're protesting. They just want to point at the protest and say, stop that. If we look at the article from rawstory.com, fans are already starting to respond to this, and you're going to see more protests coming this year, this season, against the NFL. I'm done with the NFL. Fans revolt over sideline protest ban to appease racists and the quote-unquote bully president, to appease racists and the quote-unquote bully president. Okay? All right, how's everybody doing? You know, some people watching us at lunch, some people watching us at work. Hey, this is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, and writer. I'm going to continue with this article from rawstory.com. If you want to support the African History Network, you like some of the information we provide, you can donate to the African History Network, paypal.me, paypal.me/the AHN show, paypal.me/the AHN show. And also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. So all of my DVD lectures are there. We have bundle packs. We have audio podcasts of our shows also at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Okay. And we also have the 8 DVD Black Panther bundle pack. You get 5 of my presentations, 2 of them dealing with the film Black Panther, and also 3 documentaries as well. That's on sale right now, $80, regularly $130. Okay, so we look at the article from rawstory.com. It says the NFL caved to pressure from Donald Trump and banned sideline protests by players against police brutality, and social media users were outraged. League officials adopted a new policy Wednesday requiring all league and team personnel on the field to remain standing during the playing of the National Anthem, although they are no longer required to remain on the field at that time. So they can leave the field during the playing of the National Anthem. Okay. So a person attacked former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Let's see some of the protests behind this new policy on Facebook. One is from social media user, yes, racist. Forced patriotism is the best kind. Another social media, another person with a post said, so the NFL's response to players in the country, flag and the truth, is to actually disrespect the country said the NFL is 80% black. Imagine if they all sat out a Sunday or two. And this is what some people are saying. They're saying all the players should just protest. Okay. Okay, there's no picture. What's going on? All right. Let me see. I'm not sure what's going on here. All right. So check out this article also from rawstory.com. And visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com as well. Breaking up again. We'll post the information here on the thread of the broadcast. We have the online course bundle pack. 6 of my online courses on sale right now. $60, regularly $130. And it includes Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa. Understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach in school. That's included. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and Ma'afa. Understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach in the school. Okay? Did it clear up some? Let me see the video. Let me see. The video is a little blurry. Did it clear up? Can you hear okay now? Sounds like it cleared up some of my end. Okay. All right. And check out this article from rawstory.com as well. Okay. We'll post the link here. All right. So, hey, remember at the African History Network, we focus on educating and empowering and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now, let's correct your own behavior. It's not over till we win. Remember, what you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, what you allow other people to do to you is based upon what you think about yourself. Right now, it's correct your own behavior. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you next time. Peace. Boycott. We got to continue to boycott of the NFL. We got to continue to boycott the NFL. Support these brothers. Push this agenda. We need to have rallies, etc. Okay, and we're going to look at putting